Thank you, Christine. The idea for the Harlem Historic Markers Project was originally conceived in 2015. The pandemic delayed things. But now they're up and running and, well, rising above the streets of this vibrant neighborhood. With more cuts in federal funding expected, climate and environmental researchers are exploring alternative funding sources in order to minimize further disruptions. In Morningside Heights, John Williams, CJS News. So, Columbia's interim president has reassured the community that the leadership team is prepared and has been working on specific issues like this one. The Office of the Provost has also created a website to monitor federal actions. Tomorrow is the deadline, so we'll see what the school has to say then. For CJS News, I'm John Williams. The Schomburg Center's newest exhibit celebrates this institution's 100th anniversary. It also pays tribute to the achievements and contributions of Black Americans. This as President Trump is attempting to, quote, restore truth and sanity to American history, while working towards an equitable New York City rooted in social, economic, and climate justice. This organization is equipping young people from frontline communities with skills needed for jobs to combat the climate crisis. But how are we seeing and feeling the impacts of climate change now, and how are we preparing ourselves? The ABCs of climate change can help us better understand. The goal is to reduce the emissions produced by the city's largest buildings 40% by 2030 and net zero by 2050. Clean energy academies are helping the city to get there. For City Newsroom, I'm John Williams. So over the weekend, the Columbia community received notification that campus access would be tightened and limited to only 4 checkpoints, and all other gates would be closed. We'll see what's next in the battle for 116th Street. For CJS News, I'm John Williams. Even with the current administration and the federal attacks on race and equity-based initiatives, this annual Black College Tour plans to keep on going. In Harlem for CJS News, I'm John Williams. On Columbia's Manhattanville campus, you may have noticed the purple and gold historic marker on the corner of Broadway and 125th. The marker honors the Lenape Nation, the indigenous people who once lived here. It's the work of the Signs of the Times Harlem Markers Project, an initiative of While We Are Still Here, a nonprofit organization committed to preserving Harlem's legacy. 25 new historic markers installed around the community honoring events, people, and organizations that give Harlem its unique character.
We wanted to make sure that the history of Harlem is publicly unavoidable. People were polled, and asked what organizations, what individuals, what events do you think should be kind of memorialized with a marker? And that was the start of it.
From Central Park North to 163rd and Broadway to Malcolm X, the markers stand out and draw attention to the rich Black history and cultural legacy up and down the neighborhood's blocks. Over at the Nelson Mandela marker on the corner of 125th and Adam Clayton Powell, neighbors are taking notice.
Nelson Mandela signs, and I take pictures of them every time I see them, and I think it's very important that people need to know where we come from and what's going on in Harlem.
Staying local, John, I hear you were in Harlem for an important event this weekend.
Yes, I'm a proud graduate of the premier historically Black college and university, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. You can sense the pride, right? I spent Sunday in Harlem at HBCU Spring Coming, the world's largest HBCU alumni festival. On Sunday, right here at Riverbank Park in Harlem, HBCU Spring Coming, the world's largest HBCU alumni festival, was a chance for people who graduated from historically black colleges and universities and the community to come together for fun and fellowship.
This is an opportunity for us to jumpstart that HBCU excellence, that black excellence, that black community that's really important, especially in this day and age.
Sponsors like the U.S. Tennis Association, Indeed, and Disney Plus offer corporate support and engagement that helps expand this event's impact. To date, HBCU Spring Coming has awarded nearly $500,000 in scholarships to over 150 students attending HBCUs across the nation.
It's really important because we want to make sure our schools still exist. And so giving back to the community, giving back to the students, making sure that they get to have the same experience that we had is really important.
Alicia Leonard's daughter, Adria, is one of this year's recipients who will be attending Florida A&M University and studying criminal justice.
Her obtaining the scholarship, we are so grateful because it is definitely going to help with the burden, the financial burden.
In a time when higher education institutions in this country are under attack, this community is providing safe space.
Well, it's a lovely opportunity for the community to come together, John.
Indeed, it was. It was a great time. This was the 10-year anniversary celebration, and it was amazing.
We have a new pope, and he's an American, Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost. Papal name, Pope Leo XIV.
Here at Columbia, protesters occupy the main library, and the NYPD makes dozens of arrests. What happens now?
And jury selection resumes at the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. We're live at the courthouse.
These stories and more coming up on CGS News. Hello, I'm Juliana Giacconi. Welcome to CGS News.
And I'm John Williams. Here's our top stories. Harlem's Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture is celebrating its 100th anniversary. I was there last night for a sneak peek of what's to come.
Tomorrow we officially turn 100 years old.
The Schomburg Center is celebrating with an exhibit about its legacy. This was the very beginning, 100 years ago. The Schomburg was called the Division of Negro Literature, History, and Prints of the 135th Street Branch, the only outpost of the public library that hired African American librarians.
It's so important because of both archives, both history. It gives you inspiration for the future.
In 1926, Arturo Alfonso Schomburg, an Afro-Latino historian and curator, donated his collection of African American literature, art, and artifacts of African history. Years later, the Schomburg Center would be named in his honor.
His collection came here because people in Harlem wanted it here. So his triumph was really Harlem's triumph.
Members, patrons, and the community gathered for a preview of the exhibit and a chance to show their gratitude.
When we have an institution this rich and this incredibly diverse right here in the heart of Harlem.
This year-long celebration will feature a summer festival, new programming, book giveaways, and even a special edition Schomburg Centennial Library card. That's all for CJS News.
Thanks so much for joining us. See you next week.
Dr. Walks's organization is partnering with the National Jazz Museum in Harlem this summer, hosting a workshop, a film festival, walking tours, all to connect those in the community with the history and stories right around them. In Harlem, John Williams, CJS News.
Thanks, John. That's John Williams reporting from Harlem.